All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I think we're ready this time. So, again, how's your day going?
Pretty well.
Well,
Pretty good. Just
and
started.
and you say, and like you said, your name is Koryn Todd, right?
Yes, that is my legal name.
Okay. Because I know, I've seen some of your like you listen to your music and you go by Trap Money Kenny. I don't know which name you prefer.
I feel like nowadays, since I've been more in the music sphere, people call me Kenny, which has always just been like a little nickname for me. But not a lot of people used it in the past. So you can say Corinne,
Okay, just
Kenny.
making sure.
Some people
So,
say Trap Money. Some people say, well, yeah, those are the only ones.
okay, cool. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. You do it all, right? Art, acting, singing, writing, and running a business. Which came first, and how did the others follow?
I would say I dabble in all. But music came first, I would say. Definitely music. I feel like I started writing songs pretty young. But then I only started like really releasing music. How many years ago is that now? Probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I was releasing it, but not super seriously. And then in order to build up like exposure for my music, I guess, I sort of dabbled in modeling. And then from there, I had someone see my modeling profile and offer me an acting role. And that's how I got into acting. Um, and then I really only dabbled in acting, which I would love to do more of, but I would definitely not consider myself an actor. And then after doing all that, I met Chibi or JJ, my partner. And how did that start? He was interested in starting a shirts business.
Mm-hmm.
And originally, we started off doing like tech bro shirts, but we kind of transitioned to making anime shirts just because we were both into anime. And then we started Chibytes together.
Okay. So basically, you had a lot of challenges in front of you. I knew you had a few robots where you like, hey, I want to do like multiple things at once, but how can I like manage all that at one time?
Yeah.
So I think you had like, because you had to have like a clear mindset. Okay, time management. These are multiple things I want to do, but sometimes it feels like it's impossible if I don't have a plan together.
Yeah. I'm actually really bad with time management, uh, which is why I have a partner in Chibi Bites, because otherwise I would not be able to do Chibi Bites by myself. He's much more structured than I am. I'm kind of, and there's definitely a balance that I've gotten better at in terms of balancing music and then the business, and then also, you know, doing other jobs as well to supplement my income. But I think what generally tends to suffer is my social life. Like, I feel like it's fine to balance all the rest of the stuff. I just won't see anyone if I'm like really locked in.
Okay. Um, what does your creative process look like when switching between these different worlds?
Huh. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times they aren't necessarily two different worlds. Like a lot of times it kind of gets muddied, which might be a problem that I will figure out later down the line. But I mean, we have a physical store for Cheapy Bites, right? And a lot of times I'll go work that store, but it's slow. And so I'll be like making TikToks for my music, or I'll be, looking at my stats for music and
Hmm.
strategizing ways to bring them up. And then also when I'm doing my music, And making videos for that, sometimes we're combining it, like we're doing a promotional video that's both to promote this anime shirt and to promote this song that I released. So a lot of it is figuring out ways to do both at the same time, because that kind of cuts down on the amount of effort that I had to expend.
Oh, yeah, because I know one of the things I do, because I met a lot of people who they wear many hats, so they got they're person of many talents. Like me myself, I'm doing this about doing like the cybersecurity thing, and now it's like, well, shoot, I got two things under my belt that I can do, but I know that I could be destined for more.
Hmm.
You just need to know where to start looking.
Yeah.
So,
I actually did a little bit of, I was supposed to go into cybersecurity actually, but I did not commit to that at all. Do you like cybersecurity?
I do so far. I know it's a little challenging at first, but I think as soon as you get used to it, you'll
Hmm.
know exactly how it works inside and out. I think the rough
Yeah.
part about getting into a new career or business is mostly the start of it.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So you have to like decide, okay, let's just take one step at a time because I'm just starting out into this new area of a business. So I need to know the do's, don'ts, and the ins and outs of it. So um moving on. So we're going to art and storytelling. What's one piece you've created that tells a story you're really proud of?
One Piece, like music?
No, just like a piece of clothing or anything that you've done, any kind of artwork you've done.
Any kind of artwork I've done?
Hmm?
Hmm. Well, for the clothing, I don't really know how to talk about how it tells a story because it's based off of already a fully fleshed out story. So I never saw that as like, I mean, it's visual freedom for sure. You can make it look however you want, but creative freedom, I wouldn't say so. I'm not making a story there. I'm just drawing from one that exists.
So you're just pretty much drawn to it. You're not actually just, you
That's
know.
how I view anything that is, because I view all like anime art that isn't original in terms of like actually creating the manga, an original manga, as kind of a cover, if that makes sense. Like it definitely has its creative input in the sense like you can make it look different ways, emphasize different things, but the source material is there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, cause I know ever since we first met each other back at one of those conventions, I did see all the cool stuff y'all made. Cause I know you had to, cause most of that stuff y'all had to do from scratch, right?
So the way we do that is Chibi and I are artists, right? But we don't do graphic design. So we have a team of artists that we work with, our friends that maybe we come up with a concept, they do that graphically. We go back and forth with input. And a lot of times it'll bounce between like multiple different people before we come out with like a finished product. And our process behind that is just like what looks good, what looks cool, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I understand that part. Um, did you say are you a writer too? Do you write? Nope, you don't write.
Right? I write songs.
Oh,
I write poems.
okay.
Writer.
I'm just check.
Chibi's actually a writer. He's working on a novel right now.
Okay, okay. Well, I guess we can go into the singing and performing methods. What kind of music do you love to sing most? Any anime themes that hit close to home?
Hmm. You know, I actually don't really love Japanese music, like I'm not really entrenched into Japanese music very much.
Mm-hmm.
Anime songs or J rock or J pop, I don't listen to a ton of it. Um, so I would say that is an area in which the music and the business do not intersect. Just musically, that's not where I tend to draw any inspiration from.
I understand, and I know there are some limits some music artists do have. I know. I think you know. I think you're familiar with Megan Thee Stallion. You know, she's into all this stuff. Everything she talks about in her songs is anime stuff, like Naruto, One
Yeah,
Piece,
Megan Thee Stallion loves.
Dragon Ball, My
I feel like a
Hero.
lot of rappers love Japanese culture.
Yeah, so I just thought I might want to throw that out there. Um,
Mm,
has being on stage or in front of a mic taught you anything unexpected about yourself?
I haven't done a lot of live performances up to this point. And honestly, it's nothing unexpected, but every time I do get in front of a mic, I'm definitely humbled because I'm a very shy person. Um, and sometimes I forget that until I'm up in front of people. Um, but it's something, it's like a continuous journey that I'm trying to overcome my stage fright.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Cause,
Mhm.
cause I know like some like you know when people start singing or performing, they just they just be in the zone. They don't like worry about all the little things that can happen. You know, cause it's like
That is not me. I definitely am worrying about the little things.
I understand. You know, and listen, I had stage fright too when I was a kid. I didn't want to be in front of people, so I just rather be sitting in the audience. But I know I had to do it because I was part of the performance, and I think I know that you know this is something you like doing. You want to get out there and sing to people because it's who you are, and you want to like be able to express yourself in a way that nobody else could.
Yeah. I think the goal is because I honestly don't think that the anxiety over that or the fear will ever go away. I think the point is to desensitize yourself enough to where like it doesn't come across in the performance. Like the woman who played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz,
Mm-hmm.
she was an amazing performer and she still got stage fright every single time she performed. So I mean, I think some people are just geared towards feeling that nervousness in front of a crowd. But as long as you're able to kind of fake it till you make it.
Wow. Yeah, I think most people who like write songs and know exactly what they want to say in front of everybody, they just go with what they write. They sometimes they memorize what they want to say, making sure it's all inside their heads to make sure it's all you know, making sure that it's all together in fruition as soon as the performance starts.
Hmm.
So, let's see. I wanted to ask if you could voice or perform in any anime or animated series, what would it be and why?
Oh, huh. I'm gonna have to think about this. You know what? Maybe Anya from Spy X Family. Just because I don't know, I feel like it'd be fun to voice a kid. And that way it's really disconnected like from anything obviously that you are because child, clearly not a child. But I feel like it'd just be fun to play a kid and I love Spy X Family. I think Anya's so cute.
Okay, cause I know didn't you say that you I mean cause I know cause I know oh didn't James say you wanted to be like a voice actor or something kind of sort of
No, actually.
not really no
I the thing is, I feel like I would really do anything that presents like any opportunity that presents itself to me, as long as it's not like morally compromising, I would probably do it. I don't know. I guess I view myself as a hustler in that way. Like I just want to get to the next job. So I feel like I would do voice acting, but it's not something I like sit down and like love to do that.
Basically, it's on the
Now,
show.
I feel like, and also the way I view voice acting, like the characters that I would want to voice, I feel like I just admire the people who are already doing the voice acting that I wouldn't like be able to replicate that. Like,
Um,
Louise from Bob's Burgers, that's my spirit animal. Like, I feel like I couldn't take over or I couldn't take I couldn't be able to replicate that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if I were to voice act, it would have to be like something new.
I understand, and guess what? Voice acting is not for everybody. It's not even for me. Like sometimes
Yeah.
when you have to do that stuff, you have to wait for the next opportunity to show itself, and it's
Hmm.
tough. It's really tough. I even had a conversation with one of the voice actors when I was at the other convention, 3 weeks ago in Jacksonville. She told me Emily Neves. She told me it's very tough. So that's why I just stick to what I'm doing now. I mean, trust me, I still want to be able to work with these people, but there are other ways.
I do wonder if it's any tougher than regular acting, though. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it'd be harder to voice act or to voice and video act?
That's a good question. To be honest, since it's both equally challenging, since this voice has is tough overall, I think it'll be tough in both. I think as soon as you like get behind a mic or something, you have to decide, okay, what exactly can I say that gets the audience's attention?
Yeah.
So like, it's pretty much
Do
like
voice actors not have a script?
they do have a script. They do have scripts, but it's the way you say it.
Um,
Like,
yeah, that's true.
what kind of voice do people want to hear that makes them feel like I'm tough as nails?
Hmm.
So that's something you just got to keep in. Make sure, like when you start to do a character, you have to do research and understand who this guy is. So you make
Yeah.
sure, okay, what's the tone of voice do I want my person to sound like?
Yeah, that's definitely tough having to research the character and all that.
Yeah. All right. Now we're moving on to the next one. Your entrepreneur life. Let's dig into that. What was the moment you knew Chibytes could become more than just an idea?
Mm, I guess it would be when we started working with Charlie's Collectible Show and we first got an artist table there. Because I mean, online sales are pretty hard to make. Like, especially in the beginning, if you don't have a following base or anything like that, it's very hard to get, viewers on your Instagram to convert to an actual like sale. Whereas in person, you get to see like the fruits of your labor and actually make sales. So when we started, because we have a physical store right now at Charlie's Collectible Show, which is like uh, for lack of a better term, like a nerd market. It's just like a collection of different vendors, kind of specializing in different stuff, but all related to kind of that sphere, like, Hot Wheels cars, Pokemon cards, stuff like that. But what was I saying? I distracted myself. Oh yeah, we started to do an artist table there because right now we have a permanent stall, but you can set up like a artist table for just the event that weekend. And yeah, we started that, and I thought, well, maybe this has real potential here.
I like the way you said all that. You came up with an idea, you stick with it, and as soon as you decided, hey, what exactly do we want the theme of this idea to be, so people can keep shopping at this store and keep liking what we're doing, because
Mm,
y'all run a great store. I've seen it, I like it. Shirts and merch were very amazing when I first saw it, and I was like, they thought this all the way through. They took the time to brainstorm and just decide what exactly do fans want to see.
yeah. Well, it's definitely been a process of figuring out what fans want to see. I feel like the longer we do it, the more we're able to hone in on not just the designs, but the actual setup of the store also determines everything. Because as soon as like when we first started our artist table, we weren't really making like that many sales. We were making some, but nothing compared to now. And simple things like resetting up how everything is presented and maybe
Mm-hmm.
putting the clothing rack on this side and putting stickers over here, getting people to see visually from afar that they want to step up to our table and then see our designs up close definitely made a difference.
Okay, that's great. How do you balance your creative projects with the day to day of running a store?
Hmm. I mean, I feel like it's just it has to be multitasking, you know. And it, like I said, it helps to have a partner because a lot of the creative stuff will maybe be on my end, while he handles the actual maintenance of the store and the administrative processes.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Go
I would
ahead.
say no, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes you just can't do everything by yourself, and trust me, it's hard. Um, I think you want to make sure you have a partner who can help you out when you're out of commission, especially when you have like something huge coming up and you got something else going on that you need to take care of. I think that's probably the trick that I'm going to have to learn with me, especially with me doing all these videos and podcasts. Someone else might have to take over. I don't know what to do yet because I haven't crossed that bridge edge at all. But it's something I got to figure out on my own.
It's definitely, I think you could benefit from the help because I wouldn't say this is universally true, but I feel like in general, people are either like strongly more strong in the theoretical field or more strong practically. So, me, I would be like more of the theoretical person or the more theoretical partner. Like, I come up with ideas, or, well, maybe if we did this, this would help. But in terms of practicality, like I don't necessarily have all the skills to put every single theory to work, you know? So I feel like if you're stronger in one or the other, it would benefit you to have someone to bounce you out.
Yeah, I second that. Um, has there ever been a time when you almost gave up on your creative path? What pulled you back?
um, yeah, a lot. I feel like there's been a lot of times in both music and for Chibi. But not necessarily for no, actually yes, for Chibi. Did almost give up on that. For the music, it's been like a constant battle of should I do this? Should I not do this? Is it a pipe dream? And I really only genuinely was committed to it like maybe a year ago. And then even since the beginning of that year, I've thought about like giving up. Um, but I don't know. I feel like surrounding yourself with people who encourage you and people who believe in you really helps you to not give up. I just had good people around me saying like that you have talent and you have the ability to make your dreams come true. You just have to keep going because I feel like it's always the thing that it's like getting drafted to the NFL. Like it's probably not going to happen. So a lot of people give up before even trying. But that kind of narrows down the selection pool a little bit because most people will just give up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then with Chibi, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's okay. With Chibi, I feel like I got overwhelmed like one time, especially when like there was so much to do for social media and we were really just focusing on building like the online brand. It was exhausting, like having new content every single day for both Chibi and for music. It was like 24/7. I was having to think about TikTok and Instagram. It was driving me crazy. But I did not give up. We just took a step back from the social media because it's very important to have breaks with something that's all consuming like that. And then Chibi also almost gave up on the business as well because I mean, right now we're in a time where it's kind of hard to have a small business. Like financial difficulties is real, trying to keep the shop open, and we just had to adapt and figure out better ways to source our materials and make costs cheaper on our end so we can keep providing like the same level of quality while also keeping it affordable for customers.
Yeah, I totally get you. I had a previous episode where I talked to someone talking about, it can be consuming. Sometimes being on like those social media devices, it does take a toll out of you. Believe me, it does. And
Mm,
you have to somehow figure out how to protect your own peace. Like, I know everybody's like working hard these days, and it's like, look, it's okay to take a break if you're tired. We're not going anywhere. Just lesson here is take care of yourself before you take care of others, before you give back to us. And that's what I think that's what most people need to understand. Like they're busy trying to make sure, hey, I want to make sure this is perfect before the day is over. But sometimes, what do you want? What's best for yourself? Do you want to keep providing for us, or do you want to take care of yourself first?
mm.
That's no. I'm just telling you because because I'm agreeing with everything you say. You didn't have to answer. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I'm just telling you that you know take care of yourself before you take care of others.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right. How do you stay motivated on the days when inspiration feels low?
When inspiration feels low, I do not stay motivated. I feel like you can't constantly be creative or you can't constantly be in a productive mood. I mean, I don't know anyone like that, especially not me. When I'm feeling that way, I have to take a break. Some days I want to be productive every day. I mean, I theoretically should be since I have so much to upkeep. But there's some days when I just have to like eat and watch TV all day, and that's it. And then maybe go out because one of the things that really relaxes me is going out to dance. Some days I just have to focus on myself because if I force myself, then that's not really going to be anything creatively viable.
Hmm.
Like, it's just going to be, I don't know. I feel like anything creative that's forced isn't actually creative.
Okay. Yeah, I think truth be told, sometimes when I'm trying to like, figure out what am I going to do cuz thing is, I'll be done with this certificate program by Christmas. And
Mm,
sometimes on days I just feel like, oh shoot, I'm stressing out. What am I going to do after I go? Like I got stuff to research, and it's probably not the chance I won't even get the job, but I can't give into despair so easily. I just
mm-hmm.
gotta listen. Sometimes I like to go out too. I like to venture out of the house on a few days and just like maybe go to a park or something, like enjoy nature. Trying to meditate in those places and try to come back to the realization and say, hey, days like that are going to happen, but it's
Yeah.
how you deal with it that matters.
Yeah. Rest days are important. You just have to make sure you don't accidentally take like a rest month. But for sure cannot be constantly thinking about work every day, especially with specifically what I do and being like generally an artist. Like it, you make it so that you have to work every day, then it really doesn't. It's no longer a passion.
Right.
And I have
Um.
other jobs that don't involve the art, but I could not do the art like 24/7 because then it's just a chore at that point.
Yeah, hobbies, and thing is, is I graduated 2 years ago with a degree in digital media production and journalism. So I decided to get back into school because I was like, while the media is very interesting, the job in that section can be limited.
Mhm.
So I have to say to myself, okay, what can I do in the meantime till something comes up? Because I still gotta, make money to take care of myself in the long run. That's why I went back to school to do something like cybersecurity. Because I don't get me wrong, I do like computers, I do like technology. So maybe I can get like find a career that helps me get closer to that. Because pretty much that'd be a good combination, like media and cybersecurity together. That's a good combination.
Mhm.
So that way I'll be able to like even like have more conversations like with you, just like I'm doing with you here now, and with other people I might meet down the road. So,
Mm.
so
It's honestly a really good idea. I mean, I tried to be that multifaceted. I was in school for computer science, and honestly, I just can't bring myself to pursue a job in computer science because I'm more of a one track mind. I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that and balance that with the other side of things.
well,
But if you're able to, that's always the best, I would say, is
yeah,
to have the mastery over both things.
yeah, world's full of possibilities. We just need to figure out where to look.
Yeah.
So, how has running a business changed the way you approach your art or even relationships?
Hmm, that's a good question. Running a business does, I don't think it necessarily changes the way I approach like the art if we're thinking purely of the art, like, but I guess it depends on the operational definition of the art that we're using, to be honest. I feel like the business side of things really makes you think about it in terms of like the consumer side of the art. Like you stop thinking about it as the art being made or you making it for yourself and you're now making it for an audience and you're really thinking about what do people want to see, and you stop thinking about art in the same sense a lot of the times. Like I feel like you can view art very poetically or you can view it as a avenue to make money, and if you're going to run a business off of it you have to be able to see it as both things or maybe somewhere in between that. You can't just see it as this is for me, I want to make something beautiful and meaningful, or you're not going to be able to make money off of it. um, and that's fine if you want to keep it as like a hobby, but if you want to pursue it as an actual career, it's not very viable. So you do have to start thinking about things more coldly, um, and maybe less true to yourself. It's like balancing what's true to yourself and what works. And I'd say that it's that way for both Chibytes and for my music.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. Thing is, and yes, I do agree with everything you said. The thing, because when I started this whole thing with the media stuff, like this doing these podcasts, these video game walkthroughs I've done for the last 6 years. You know, the thing is, I was still young. I was 19, so I was still trying to like figure out what's the purpose of all this. So listen, when you dive into something new, you just need to make sure, okay, hey, I'm doing this. What's the purpose of me doing all this? Are you just doing this for the hobby of it? Are you trying to turn into something more bigger than yourself? What's your purpose for doing all this? Because I had that same question asked to me over and over and over again, and to be honest, I didn't know what the answer to that question was until I figured out what until I until I was like 24 years old. So I
Mm.
just So I took the time to make sure I do my research and think to myself, okay, why am I doing all this? Why am I putting these videos up? Why am I going back to school? You know,
Yeah.
listen, every person out there who's doing any kind of art, business, tattoos, any type of hobbies or careers, they have to stop and think to themselves, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I think that's the question most people just trip up over and they just get straight to it. But then later on in life they realize it's not what they expected at all. So keep in mind when you do something, make sure you know why you're doing it.
I think it's important as you go on to realize that there can be a lot of reasons why you do something. Like in the beginning of doing music, I did it just because I wanted to and I needed to get my feelings out. I needed to be able to put to words and put to sound and put to colors on paper. I don't know, just whatever it was going on in my head to keep me sane. But then as things evolve, it's like, well, you can have multiple reasons for doing something. You can do something because you need it. You can do something as well because you need to communicate with other people or you want to help other people, but you also want to make money. It's like so many different things.
Right. Gotta make sure you know you just I know you want to like show off yourself and pride. Overall, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing and just taking care of yourself while also doing the things that you love. Like I know why I'm back in school because I do like computers. I do want to do like the cybersecurity stuff because I do want to work at like those companies. But also, if I want to keep doing this kind of stuff, talking to you guys and like
Mhm.
other cool things, going to conventions, I got to have money to fund all that stuff. You can't. Not everything in this world is for free.
Yeah.
Everything. Listen, 99% of the stuff in this world is not for free.
Yeah.
So you just need to figure out how to get yourself from point A to point B.
Hmm.
So um did you let's see. Did you ever feel pressure to do it all? How do you protect your peace?
I feel like the pressure for me has always been to not do it all. Um, I feel like in the past, I feel like I was always pressured to kind of not pursue anything that could have conceivable risks, like music or starting a business. Um, I was pressured more to follow a traditional career path of, get my 4-year degree and then go into a nice, safe job. Um, and so I feel like it was the opposite journey for me. Like I had to, the reason I started doing it all was because I couldn't trust one thing because I was told not to be able to trust one thing. So I was like, oh, I have to have everything. So that way I know at least something's going to work out for me. Um, so that's kind of, hmm. Sorry, you made me think so much with that one. Can you repeat the
Sorry,
question?
I made sure to come up with some very good questions for today.
Yeah. What was the second half of the question?
Second half was how do you protect your peace?
How do I protect my peace? Okay, yeah. Shoot, I don't know. I guess I just protect my peace by I don't know. I'm a very peaceful person, to be honest. I feel like my life is chaotic right now, but I think that's good for me. Like I'm pretty ADHD. I think I need a degree of like I cannot be peaceful. It would drive me crazy. And that's the thing. I think I approach it from the way of choosing a path that I knew wouldn't be peaceful for me, but somehow that brings me peace. Like it's the path that I chose definitely has its risks and it has like the caveat that you have to always be working and you have to be working without the promise of a return on your work. which is not peaceful. But for me, that is being able to risk it and being able to do something that maybe I could fail, but at the end of the day, I believe and I hope that it doesn't. That's me protecting my peace.
Okay, that's a very interesting story. I like it. You know, hey, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about you before when we first met, but now I'm starting to understand now that we're sitting down having these conversations. But yeah, that's really nice to hear, and I think it might help a lot of people who else are listening to this. Um, are there any myths about being a creative or small business owner that you like to debunk?
Myths. Let's see. I don't know. I think a lot of myths are true. Can you? What are some myths that you know of that might be false that you're curious about? Because a lot of the times, they are true. So, what do you want to know specifically?
Well, like specifically what I mean by myth is like, is there like something like we didn't know about you before when you were doing the business, kind of, sort of like, something like people like, know, hey, she did this kind of work before, like we didn't know, like it's in secret.
Oh, okay, wait. No, I still don't understand. In terms of like things that I didn't really think of before for the business and for my music, I discovered. I guess this could be a myth that like social media, because I always looked at social media influencers and I was like, that's got to be the easiest job in the world. But that is not true. Like, because the thing is, you see the short video and you're like, oh, they're only working for that amount, like a 1 minute video. They just had to take the video and post it. Like that's easy.
Yep.
It's literally a full time. Like that job never stops, and it's honestly the worst part of being a creative is having to do social media and having to create content in this online world we live in. It's actually so exhausting mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. I guess that's the myth that doing that type of content creation is easy. It's definitely not.
Okay. So I got you. So yeah, sometimes it's not easy. We just gotta learn. It's like riding a bicycle. Just
Yeah.
need to know all it's like parallel processing, like driving a car, for example. Okay, let's take out bicycle. Let's try driving a car. It's like driving a car for the first time. A person, you pretty much had to learn how to use the steering wheel, the gas, and the brake pedals, and the shift, the parking, reverse. Basically, you had to learn how to do all those at the same time without thinking.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Honestly, I feel like that's how everybody feels though about everything in life. I feel like that's just learning to be a part of society, like a functioning gear in society is basically like that. Like even learning how to do your taxes, I feel like everything is like that. We're all just kind of thrown out here in the world and all figuring out how to drive a car without an instruction manual.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's what everybody's doing. I think we're at the final section now. So back to the music and stuff. So I think you might like some of these I came up with. And some of your songs I've been listening to, like Hindsight. I do love Hindsight. I've listened to it 20 times.
Yeah, thank you.
There's real emotion through line. What message were you trying to share with listeners in that track?
I feel like the message was definitely, I don't know if there was a message in terms of like a lesson to be learned as much as it was a lament. I think it's just like putting angst to words, and I guess hopefully it's just I know a lot of people would relate. Hindsight's 20 years too long is basically just talking about it's a play on hindsight's 2020, like basically saying I have lived too much life for the short span that I've been on Earth. Um, and just talking about general mental health struggles and feeling the weight of. I really have to remember my own lyrics. I wrote that so long ago. But I'm assuming, yeah, it's definitely like a depression song. It's for the people that struggle sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired of character building, of intermittent healing. It's like basically wondering why is life so hard. And life is hard for a lot of people, so people can listen to that and relate. I feel like life is hard for all people.
Yeah. There have been a lot of songs I've listened to. I mean, like my playlist on Spotify, I have at least 500 songs, and out of those songs, they do have very enticing and important messages for people to listen to and understand. I'll say, okay, I understand what this person is talking about relating to his life experiences. Maybe this can help me deal with the stuff that I'm going on, so I'll be able
Hmm.
to do better the next day.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of power in just honesty and just a lot of people's, especially if they're going through like mental health struggles, they feel alone. And when they listen to songs that they think speak to them, it helps so that they don't feel so alone. Or maybe they understand that they can be seen in the way that honestly probably everybody feels the same way about a lot of different things, but we just don't know how to talk to each other about it.
Yeah, some people are just shy and they don't like. I just can't read people's mind. Like you guys can always talk to me, but sometimes they need another way to get the message out. And like send me a text message or I don't know, do something spectacular. And you doing like a song like that because you did say you were a shy person, but I also understand that you had to find a way to express yourself and get your message and talking points out there and by singing. And I think you've done a great job doing
Yeah.
that because that's not
Yeah.
what most people would normally do. They would just sit in silence and not say anything for the next 48 hours.
Yeah, I think that I have a specifically issues with being vulnerable. And so I feel like music is the way in which I do that.
So, when you sit down to write a song, what usually comes first for you? The lyrics, the mood, or a story you want to tell?
Huh. It's it's always different because sometimes like maybe I'm going through this intense life event and I'm like freaking out. And the only thing I can do is write because otherwise like I just need to get it out of me, you know? Or maybe sometimes it's like I'm not feeling any specific type of way. And I feel like all emotionally blocked up. Sometimes I like see, and I have to decide, like, what am I going to write this about and go from there. Um, Sometimes I'll go off of like a single phrase and write a song around that, or sometimes I'll have to go back into my poetry and adapt that into a song. Sometimes it's music first and lyrics second. Sometimes it's the other way around. Like it's just very fluid with me.
All right, so basically, depending on the song and the day, the time of the day, you just feel like whatever comes to my mind first, I'll just go with that and just be in the zone for like an hour or two, trying to figure
Yeah,
out what exactly do I want my listeners to like and enjoy when I
I
start singing it.
I think that the more like the songs that are definitely more boppy and like they've got like really good one-liners. I feel like they generally start with the music first, and then I listen to that. I'm like, how does that make me feel? Or I make like a melody to that, and then I put words to it based off of like what did this make me think when I heard it, and what words can I put to the sound? Because I feel like if the words don't match the sound, like the song ceases to have any type of power to it. But I feel like the more emotionally powerful songs of mine that when I listen to, like I really feel it again, they definitely came with the life event first, and then I wrote lyrics. and then put it to a song. So I guess it really, based off of how I wrote the song, it kind of changes how it's perceived as well.
Okay. That's really great. Uh, so a lot of your music feels personal, from what I can tell from the way you're telling me. Um, but also relatable. Do you write more from experience, observation, or just both?
Um, I would say I generally write from experience, but I also love to do songs from observation as well. Um, I feel like a lot of the songs I've been writing recently are more experience songs, but in the past I've loved to do like more story based songs, kind of like folk songs. Because folk songs I feel like tend to focus around a story or some kind of lesson, to be honest. I feel like those are pretty powerful as well. Um, like there's this back when I was making like a ton of different songs. Like I don't release everything I write, but I would write songs like about Greek mythology and feel inspired based off of that and think, okay, how can I make this like put a twist on this? Or I made this one little thought project based around like fairy tales and putting like a dark twist on fairy tales. I wrote a whole project with that, and I don't know. I feel like just kind of everything.
Yeah, there have been a few songs where some singers do talk about a lot of Greek mythology or history, you know, that kind of stuff that makes it more enticing for like listeners like me to like, oh, okay, they're using Greek mythology in this, trying to relate this to like the present day modern stuff going on now. I like how they're doing that. So they try to keep it. Thing is, some of the music I know is fast, but they try to keep it as simple as possible so people can understand where they're coming from, what's the theme of the song, and how exactly they managed to put it all together.
Mm.
So it's pretty much.
Yeah, I think there's a definitely merit to both simplicity and to that kind of convoluted, like referencing literature. There's definitely merits to both. I think that you can't just have one or the other. But
No. Um. Sorry, my mind was close to me. Do you ever feel like your music is telling a version of your story that your art or business isn't telling?
yeah, all the time. I think. Um, well, the business is not. It's definitely a version of myself that is true. Like, like our business is one sect of our business is like kind of that cool, grungy streetwear, which is for sure like a facet of myself. And then one sect of it is like very e-girl, kawaii, which is also a facet of myself. Um, but and then in terms of like my personal art and my personal paintings and my music, like it's definitely a bit more personal in the sense like it's not more me than the other stuff. It's just more of the parts of me that I wouldn't necessarily just show to a stranger on the street, which is funny because it's like released and available for public consumption, but it just feels less personal when you put it in song form, like when it's something you can vibe to as well. Because sometimes people listen to that and they don't really understand what you're saying. Like they just listen to it and
True.
they're like, "This sounds
True.
good," but they don't really think about like the what's behind it.
So overall, the store is like the best way to tell your story. Because I know, because times people just listening to the music just to be listening to it, and and from what you just told me, you are correct. Maybe the music is it's only telling like 50-50 of the story, like half of it.
Mm,
But the way you're saying that your store is telling you how you have you gotten to where you need to be, that explains most of it.
yeah.
So, uh, one last question, and I think we'll be done. When you look back at your journey, what moment do you feel most proud of? And also, what message do you want people to take away from this?
What moment do I feel most proud of? I honestly think that every day that progresses, I feel more and more proud of where I am. Like I can't look back in the past and see a moment where I'm more proud than I am today. I feel like every day is like a journey to getting closer to where I want to be. And that makes me have more faith in myself like every day. You know? And then what was the second half of the question?
Oh yeah. What do you want people to take away from this conversation?
Let's see. Oh,
Take your time.
I guess I feel like most of what we've been talking about is just like the intricacies of risk risky decisions that offer high reward, like emotionally being true to yourself and all that, but also have high financial risks, right? Not everybody can make money off of doing what they love. Like it's hard. But I think throughout the conversation, that's kind of been a focus. So maybe just try and have faith in yourself and try and pursue the things that you love doing because it's definitely for a while, most days are going to feel like you're a failure. But if you stick through it, like not everyone has the constitution to be able to stick through it, but when you do stick through it and you don't give up and you do persist, eventually you will start to see some type of reward.
That's true. You gotta walk before you can run.
Yeah.
So definitely. Well, anyway, it was nice talking to you. I'm glad I had a chance to talk to you. I know we've only known each other for like a few months, but we made it work. So it was nice to be able to like open up to some parts that I didn't know about you before. So I think it's very important for me to sit down and talk to you guys and hear y'all stories out and see how y'all
Yeah.
got to listen. As I said before, everybody has a story to tell. And I think the more people we interact with, the more people we talk to, we'll understand and their perspectives.
Hmm.
So, well, anyway, this is Koryn Todd. Make sure you go check out her music and everything. Go listen to Hindsight. I've listened to it a lot of times. And don't forget to check out the store at Chibytes. They sell a lot of merch there, anime stuff. So, yeah, go check them out.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.